It's time for bed, Didi. Go hop in bed. I'll be right in to tuck you in.
Dealing with strong emotional or familial issues presents a delicate challenge to a developer. Well, that on top of making a fun, interesting game.
Good night, Daddy.
When both are done symbiotically, it's a beautiful thing, but there are a handful of ways to steer off that course. Leaving an audience void of closure might be near the top of that list, but in contrast, yeah, there's a lot to like here too.
They haven't started the show yet. You missed the dancers. They were so beautiful.
Contrast, developed by Compulsion Games and released on Steam, XBLA, and PSN on November 15th, is a puzzle platformer with a unique appeal. You play as Dawn, the speechless corset-wearing main character who accompanies adorable little Didi. Didi is the ill-conceived daughter of a love triangle set in a vaudevillian decor of the 1920s. So far, so good, right?
Were you spying on us at the cabaret?
Are you coming home?
Well, that's my plan. I've got to convince your mother.
The 3D world is gorgeous and detailed. It encapsulated the film noir feel Compulsion was going for, dropping me dead center into a whirlwind of split family ties and mobster brutality.
And then I'm gonna have to break your arms, and then we see how well you swim.
In certain circumstances, however, Don can jump from the 3D stage into the 2D shadows, literally changing the dimensions of the gameplay. I probably made this sound more grandiose than it actually is. To be honest, the idea sounds a lot more exciting than the execution, which pretty much sums up my thoughts on the title as a whole, but more on that in a minute. It becomes clear that Didi was forced to grow up faster than any young girl ought to. Right away, we find her tailing her buxom mother to one of the local show floors, performing for the late-night crowd. Quite admirably, I might add.
I just never thought you'd harm me.
Kudos are definitely deserved here, as I greatly admired the vocal performances from just about every member of the cast, Didi in particular.
Come on, it's this way.
You follow her around as either her intradimensional companion or her imaginary friend, whichever you wish her to be, and it's clear she is the leader in this storyline, simply wishing to do everything she can to bring together her once happy family.
Your investors haven't heard about me. They're stupid.
Outside of the dimensional shifts, gameplay is pretty standard in contrast. You won't find much by way of actual enemies or resistance. Progress is based much more heavily on exploration, as you can navigate off the beaten path to find additional fragments of Didi's family story, as well as hints regarding how Dawn came to be. Outside of this, you'll be treated to routine platforming with the occasional spurts of brilliance when 2D shadow mechanics are incorporated into the mix. As I said, there's a lot to like here. The environments look great, and the game plays well outside of a few minor glitches and one ridiculous puzzle near the end of the game that doesn't make a lick of sense. The story carries well into the later stages too. It remains believable and kept me emotionally invested. That is, until the end.
There aren't any pictures of the bad times. These were in the basement. She only takes them out when Daddy's living with us. You know, in stories where the little girl is really a princess and her parents aren't really her parents? Does she still get to see them?
Without giving anything away, I think it's safe to say the majority of players will probably feel a little cheated when they reach the conclusion of Contrast. I felt as though a beautiful narrative was all of a sudden given the stamp of approval when the team had only just begun to put on the finishing touches. I could easily be off base here in assuming that the developers were rushed out the door near the end of the cycle, but the waning moments of Contrast left me feeling like my investment up to that point was all for naught. I think I was looking for something along the lines of a Papa-Yo, and it certainly felt like that through most of the game. I was put in the shoes of a child in a bad way, making do with what they had and conveying a powerful message to the player. Of course, spoken lines added another element to that in the case of Contrast, which was playing to its advantage for the most part. What followed, though, fell flat on its face and did little to reward my persistence in reaching the end of the narrative.
Batten down the hatches!
Contrast feels to me like a game that had a chance at being something truly special, but settled for maybe slightly above average. The glimpses of brilliance can be seen when the 2D shadows interact seamlessly with the 3D world puzzles, although it feels like little more than a gimmick at times. Most importantly though, the story ends not with a bang, but with a hurried whimper. But then again, what do I know? I barely played it.
When